So gentlemen, you need to be sharpening the tools which are going to be most applicable and most versatile irregardless of the situation you find yourself in, right? There's a whole bunch of skills you can learn. Some are very specialized, but there are some skills which basically always pay off. And these should be your primary focus. These should be the ones you're most interested. I've got a marker here. It's fine. You're most interested in improving because you're always going to need them. There's never a time when you won't need these skills, or it's very difficult to think of a scenario in which these skills will not be useful to you. That's why you should focus on them and hone them specifically. So we're going to talk about a few things on this emergency meeting, but I want to talk about, firstly, the tenet of bravery. It's difficult to think of a scenario where being brave would be a negative mindset for you to be able to tap into, because bravery affords new options you haven't previously considered. If you're a coward, you don't have certain options on the chessboard because you simply don't have the bravery to make X moves. But if you are brave, you can analyze these moves. So you have a whole bunch of moves that most people don't have. I can talk from personal experience. When we got out of jail, everyone said, just shut up and this case will go away. And I said, no, I'm gonna take the brave choice and I'm gonna run at the gunfire and tell them it's all a lie and it's all stupid. I did that on purpose. That takes bravery. Most people do not have the bravery to consider alternate paths. And as the world gets more and more centralized, because that's what globalization effectively is, it's centralization. All of the companies of the world are becoming centralized. All of the power, all of the money, everything is becoming centralized. There's going to be a smaller and smaller group of people that have everything, and most people are going to be left with nothing. You need to be able to look at the chess moves that most people will not be prepared to make, and most people live very afraid. So bravery is an extremely important skill to hone. It's something you should practice. You should often sit and think, what would be the bravest decision I could make in this scenario? What would be the bravest one I could possibly make? And consider it. I'm not saying do it, but you should get in the mental model of considering it. Because quite often when you're a coward, brave decisions don't even cross your mind, ever. They don't even cross your psyche. They're not even something that's interesting to you. You haven't trained your mind to consider them. So you need to train your mind to consider bravery, because bravery is something that is going to universally apply throughout your life. It doesn't matter who wins in the presidential election. It doesn't matter if you're rich. It doesn't matter if you're poor. It doesn't matter if you're in Thailand. It doesn't matter if you're in Peru. Having the option to be extremely brave and consider the options which are afforded only to a brave person is going to be something which is always going to benefit you. So it's very important that you consider and think about bravery as a whole, something I want you to hone. Now, today's questions, I've never read before. We're going to read them. G's barking. I hope it's not the police again. We're going to see. We're going to read these questions out and see how they go. Right, question 1 for the top G. Remember, guys, I'm your uncle who wants to remind you that you failed. I'm not your motivational speaker. I'm not your psychiatrist. I'm the uncle who's done it all and is looking at you saying, when I was your age, I did better than you're currently doing. And it's also very important as a man that you're realistic enough to understand that the masculine world has always been based around peacocking, flexing, showing capability, showing competence. That's what the masculine world is truthfully based around. Women, people often say women are attracted to men who are X, Y, Z. No, women are attracted to competent men. Men who exude competence, not arrogance, but capability. And you're only going to exude that if you've proven yourself capable many times, because then God will give you a different level of, swag is the wrong word, perhaps a different aura. When a woman looks at you and goes, he can do anything he says he's going to do, that's when you become instantly attractive. Competence is extremely important. That's the masculine world. And peacocking built this world. Don't let losers and brokies sit and say to you, oh, all our graves are the same, it doesn't matter. No, it does matter. You were not born to suffer and die without being remembered or leaving a mark on this planet. You weren't born for that. You were born to do something great and to be remembered. You were born to leave offspring which are so fantastic, raised in your image, that you by proxy are discussed into eternity. Your bloodline, like the bloodline Tate, becomes synonymous with competence and capability. That's why you were born. The reason the male peacock shows its feathers is to say, look what I have. There is nothing wrong with that. That's what built the modern world. All of the explorers who risked their lives on the 7 seas did it to say, look what I did. The most beautiful buildings around you, the cathedrals, all these things that were built by men saying, look what we have done. We have done something other people cannot do. Flexing in and of itself is not a stupid idea. It's actually a biological norm amongst men. Don't be confused. You don't want to flex asininities. You want to flex capabilities. You want to flex competence. You want to flex, look what I can do, which others cannot do. I made the brave choice that others are afraid to make. And respect often lies on the other side of fear. If there's a decision that everybody's afraid to do, but you do it, that is what's going to get you respected by your peers. So it's extremely important. Right, question number 1. Let me read the chat quickly. Every single super chat in this show I'm going to read out as well, guys. I'm going to read out all the super chats. We have anything over $50 because otherwise we have too many small ones. There's 2 here for $10 I'll read. Opinion on the guy who walked here. I'm glad he got some exercise. That's fantastic, but I don't know him. And I'm not really in the business of meeting people I don't know. I know a lot of you may not understand that, but I have my reasons why. I put it in a Tate speech before why I don't like meeting people I don't know. It's not just a security concern, but one selfie with me, people run around saying my name, raising money, lying. It really bites me. So I wish I could be a bit more social, but it's quite difficult, unfortunately, because everybody's out to get a buck. Because the world's becoming more centralized, it's becoming harder and harder for anyone to make any money. So people are becoming more and more desperate. I understand it, but I need to keep my name and my integrity intact because the Tate name is based on integrity. Everything I said I was going to do, I have done. I'm the only celebrity who's launched a meme coin and didn't rug pull it. Daddy's still here. I'm preparing to launch a few more exchanges and staking when the market recovers. Daddy's going to the moon. The real world's still here. I haven't lied to anybody about anything. I'm the most reputable brand on the internet currently today. So I have to be very careful when someone goes, oh, I walked all the way here, I want a picture with you, because I don't know what they're going to do with that picture, especially if it's going to end up damaging my name. Right. Question number 1. Just out of curiosity, to be great at anything in life, should you enjoy it? For example, if a boxer wants to become world champion, would he have to enjoy boxing? Or would it even be possible to maybe hate boxing and still become world champion? Good question. It is easier if you enjoy it, because you do not struggle with lack of motivation or lack of interest. For me to say you could honestly be world champion at something you hate is a lie. You can, however, be competent at things you don't like. You can be very good at something you don't like doing. To be the best in the world, you probably have to fall in love with it. But the way you do anything is the way you do everything. And you can fall in love with the idea of being good in general. So anything I do, I don't want to be bad at. I either don't do it or I try my very best all the time to become extremely good at it. I don't see the point in doing anything and being mediocre or being bad at it. What's the point? If I'm going to speak on podcasts, I want to be good at it. Anything I'm going to do, I want to be good at. Now, you should have enough respect for yourself that you're prepared to always put in the effort to give your best 100% because it is a habit. You should always give your best to anything you do. When you pick up a video game, you should give your best. When you drive a car, you should attempt to drive as efficiently as possible, using the brake as little as possible to not waste fuel, to make sure there's no close calls, no sudden braking. Most of you are just getting in your car and driving like a jackass from point A to point B, not trying to actually go, you know what, let me drive and pretend I have the queen in the back seat and I can't even brake suddenly. And I only have a fraction of fuel. How far can I go if I very smoothly, very calmly anticipate the traffic in advance, move my car in and out of the cars so I barely have to brake, keep moving slowly and smoothly? Let me try and get good at this. The way you do anything is the way you do everything. And it is a habit to be good at things. There's nothing wrong with just being good at things. To be the best in the world, you have to love it. That's true. But you're not going to love the majority of things you do. That's not realistic. The world's not going to afford you a life where everything you do you're in love with. In fact, you're going to end up doing a whole bunch of things you don't want to do. And the life hack is, if you enjoy getting better at things, then you can be doing something you don't want to do better than you previously done it, and now you enjoy doing it because you were more competent and more capable at said task. You are now better at said task. I'll give you a very simple example. Every morning I wake up and I drink 4 liters of water. I drink 4 liters. I have started timing myself. Why? Well, Tristan can down water like a fish. I've never seen anything like it. He can drink 2 liters of water in 3 or 4 seconds. I can't do that. And it bothered me. Now, will there ever be a scenario in the future where I need to drink 4 liters of water as quickly as possible? Probably not. I mean, I may get stranded in the desert, who knows? But every single morning I start off with a very simple competition. I wake up, I put a timer on, and I try and drink 4 liters of water as quickly as possible. And I've managed to reduce my time by half from when I started. Why? Is it even pleasant? No. Drinking water that quickly makes me feel sick. I can't do it like Tristan does. I just want to get better at it because I'm going to do it. I'm going to drink the water, so why not become as good as possible at drinking the water? There's just no reason not to. Every single thing I approach with vigor because I like being good at things. And that's not because I'm arrogant. That's because I have enough respect for myself, and more importantly, I have enough respect for the people I love to know that I need to be good at things. When my children, or when my women, or my family, or my people who rely on me, my brothers, anybody comes to me expecting me to do something for them, I need to have enough respect for them to know that I'm good at what they ask me to do. And if I don't know what they want me to do, or I'm not particularly good at it, I'm at least good at learning. You can become good at learning so that you learn things faster. Good at concentrating. Good at taking a scenario seriously. These are all basic life skills to go along with bravery. That's going to put you in a competitive bracket amongst the masculine realm which exists today, because most people can't even focus. Most people can't even focus or try hard at anything. So to answer the question, can you become world champion without loving boxing? No. You can't become the best in the world. However, you can become very good at it because you can have enough discipline to ensure that you go to training, and you can make sure that you're the kind of person who, if you're going to go to training, you're going to try your best. Guys, you're going to go to training for an hour. Whether you try hard or don't try hard, you're going to spend an hour in the boxing gym. There is no reason to not try. That is a learnt habit. And what you often find with people who need to be motivated into things, because they're not disciplined enough to do things and not disciplined enough to do things properly, they'll go and say, I went to boxing training, as if that's all that it's about. It's not about going to the training. It's about trying hard in the training. It's about giving it your all. It's about dedicating yourself. You're going to give an hour up anyway. There's no reason to not try. Most people go through their entire adult life without trying 100% hardly ever. Think about it. Even when you go to the gym, you don't try 100%. You try 60%, 70%. You don't try 100% at home. You don't try 100% when you fuck your bitch. What do you try 100% with? Do you really try 100% with work? Are you really moving that mouse as quickly as you possibly can? No, you're not trying. So you have people who have gone through life and are going through life without even giving 100% of what they've got ever. And it's interesting because we're entering the most competitive period of human history. Guys, I want you all to understand something. The plan by the elites is pretty simple. Their intention is pretty simple. Their intention is to enslave all of us. And they're going to do that by replacing us with machines and leaving us begging for handouts from a centralized government. And for you to outcompete a machine is going to be nearly impossible without some degree of ingenuity, without some degree of spark. You need something extremely interesting and unique about you. That's extremely important. And for you to be able to do that, you can't just be good at one thing. You need to be good at lots of different things. Often it's a concoction of capabilities across realms that are going to allow you to have this special formula that a machine can't quite mimic for now. So you need to get very good at everything you do, all of the time. You'll learn a lot of lessons about psychology in the boxing ring. Now, they're not related, technically. One's exercise, one's the psychology of people. But you'll learn in the fight ring, you'll learn that you're not tired when you're winning. You're tired when you're losing. That once you start to win, you get to find unlimited energy from the universe from somewhere, and you just continue to push forward, no matter how hard it is. Winning is easy. It's trying to turn it around when you're losing that is difficult. You take this lesson from boxing and you apply it to everything else in life. You apply it to money and say, once I start to make money, I know I will have endless motivation to keep making money. It's just hard to make money in the first place. It's hard to get over that hurdle, but once I get going, it's easy. It's a positive reinforcement loop. It's a spiral upwards into infinity. It's a tornado that takes you to the promised land. So to have that unique psychological conclusion, that unique psychological input, you had to become good at boxing. You have to become good at lots of different things to come up with unique perspectives which cannot be replicated by the machine mind in the modern age, especially in the coming years. So it's very important that you're good at everything you do, all of the time. Don't do it if you're not going to try. It's actually a bad habit. It's kind of like sloppiness. When I was teaching people to fight, fact, I was always a terrible teacher. I never used to give people advice on how to fight because people were just so stupid. I couldn't handle it. But you don't want people to learn bad habits. But it's a bad habit to coast. It's a bad habit to spend time and waste it. It's a bad habit to go, I tried. I went. I didn't give it my all, but at least I went. You see this kind of cope online all the time. Yeah, at least I went. It's going that matters. That's not true. It's trying that matters. So you see this kind of cope. Yeah, well, I didn't feel like going to the gym, but I went and just had a light session. Why? You went anyway. So why did you have a light session? Are you gay? Is it because you're gay? Is that why? If you're gonna go, do it. If you're gonna do it right. There's no point in half doing anything. You may as well have not done it at all. So this idea you can coast through things, this idea you can lazily try or pretend to try or just showing up counts, I dispute all of that absolutely. You give 100% of your heart, soul, and vigor to anything you do, and it becomes a habit so that it's all you know how to do. Before you know it, you're driving a car trying to do it as well as possible. And you're having a conversation trying to be as clear and compendious and concise as possible. And you're trying to make money as much as possible, as efficiently as possible. And you're trying to educate your children as well as possible. You're trying to protect your family as much as possible. You're trying to get as strong as possible. Because all you know is maximum limits. That's all you've ever done. You've never done any of this, that garbage can go out the window. So you need to get good at getting good at things. And you need to get good at trying 100% at all things, whether you like them or not. And this will give you a base level of competency in all realms, even if you're not in love with said task. Next question. How do you deal with headaches to be able to perform at your peak? It's not often I take questions from the LGBT community, but we're going to take this one. I don't think most of you realize that you do not have time. Everything is time. Time can be converted into anything. We all know time can be converted into money. People say often, time is money. This is true. Money is also time. You spend money to save time. Time is the enemy of the rich man, so he takes a private jet to save time. Money is the enemy of a poor man, so he waits for the bus to save money. But they're the same thing, money and time. Most of you sacrifice your time for money. If I go to work for X amount of hours, I get X amount of money. And that money you can use to hire somebody else to do something for you and give you their time. That's all cash is. If I need 1,000 man hours, I can do them myself and spend my time, or I can spend my money and hire 1,000 man hours. And this is what's interesting about the fact we're talking about centralizations of power. These larger and larger companies are going to become harder and harder to compete with because the amount of man hours and energy which is done under their name, under their umbrella, in guise of ensuring the global conquest of their brand, each day is accelerating. These companies have hundreds of thousands of employees all doing 12-hour days. That's millions and millions and millions of man hours dedicated towards a single brand, and you're one person by yourself putting in a few hours a day trying to compete. It's going to become harder and harder. They're going to get further and further ahead of you. That's why we teach you inside of the real world to use artificial intelligence. We have a whole AI campus, so you can get a machine helper to help you do the work. If you're sitting here watching this and you're not currently making money with the machine mind, then you're failing. Because you can join therealworld.com and learn how to use the machines to earn money. I use AI for everything. But if you refuse to learn, then you deserve the eternal slavery which is coming for you and your bloodline. That's what's going to happen. There's no way to escape it, right? So when I say you don't have time, this is something you need to remember because it's extremely important and you can apply it to most things. You do not have time to have a headache. Do you understand? I'm not saying you don't have a headache. I'm not saying your head doesn't hurt. You can be gay. Some people are gay. But you don't have time for it to affect your life. You do not have the waking hours. You are being outcompeted and crushed by people who have no interest in your sovereign capabilities as a human to make free choice, by people who intend to enslave you, by people who are more powerful and more connected than you'll possibly ever be, by people who know things you do not know. You do not have time to have a headache. It's simply not acceptable. How do you perform when you have headaches is a stupid question. The fact you've even framed it in that way shows that you don't understand the world. I'll give you another example. You don't have time to argue with your woman. Your woman started an argument today or yesterday, whenever, and you've been texting back and forth. You don't have time. You have things to do. There's unlimited work in the universe. If you don't know what work to do, join the real world. We'll give you the work. We'll guarantee you money. We'll guarantee you success. Take that money, join the war room, take that money, buy Daddy Coin, wait for it to blow up, that's going to stake, increase your power level, and you can be a multimillionaire. You don't have time to have a headache, or message stupid girls, or scroll Instagram, or DM whores. You don't have time for any of these things. Time is your lifeblood. It's all you've got. You can turn time into reputation. You could turn time into global fame. You could turn time into respect. You could turn time into a fantastic body. You could do anything with your time. You could choose a random embassy. You could choose a random country that you have beef with. I don't know. Chile. And you could go stand outside the Chilean embassy with a sign saying, "Down with Chile," for no reason. But if you stood there every single day, after about 2 years, people would be like, who is this guy and why does he hate Chile so much? You can convert 2 years of your time into a BBC News interview to begin a global conversation on the terrible history and colonial past and the horrible things that Chile have done, which is not currently discussed. You can turn your time into anything you want. So how are you going to waste it sitting around saying, I have a headache? Boo boo, I have a headache. Are you gay? Maybe you're gay. But the question is framed incorrectly. If I have a headache, I don't care. And one of the main reasons I don't care is because my enemy doesn't care. You know, when I got injured when I was training for fights, my coach would often say to me, is your enemy going to hit you less or show you mercy because of this injury? If you say, okay, we're about to fight, but halfway through the training camp, I hurt my foot, so, take it easy. No, he's going to try and destroy me anyway. So if he doesn't care, why do I care? And why does my coach care? Nobody cares. The people who are trying to steal your woman, and trust me, everyone is. The people who are trying to take the money that you want to earn and put it in their pocket before you can. The people who want to have large and gorgeous feathers on their peacock to show the world all the amazing things they've done. They don't care that you have a headache. So why do you care? You need to reprogram your mind. You don't have time to have a headache. You don't have time to be doing the majority of things you do. If I'm timing myself drinking water to try and do it as quickly as possible, you certainly don't have time to sit around talking about a boo-boo inside your head. That makes you gay. And there's always been and always will be tiers, right? There's always going to be a hierarchy. There's going to be different echelons of success. There's always going to be kings, emperors, oligarchs, and there's going to be the peasants below. It is your job to try your very best to escape peasantry. Even if you don't reach the highest possible level, at least escape peasantry. We were talking earlier about competence, right? And we could talk about that again. Do you think a woman sees you as competent if you complain about having a headache? Let's say you have a headache. It's fine. You have a headache. I'm not disputing that. Maybe it really hurts. That's terrible. If you go, oh, I've got such a bad headache. Do you think a woman looks at you and goes, yes, oh, I found the guy for me? She may not say anything. She may say, oh, do you want a pill? But really, deep down in her vagina, she's thinking, this guy's a dickhead. I mean, if you got hit in the head with a hammer or shot in the face, fine. But why do you have a headache? From what? Scrolling TikTok. And then you want to message me and ask why you can't win in the real world. A lot of you deserve the failure you endure. The universe is very giving. I often believe people say the world's not fair. I'd argue that karmic retributions, and in the long run, all in all, is pretty fair. That's why I made all of this clear when I launched Daddy Coin and I refused to scam anyone. I said no, because I believe in karmic retributions. I believe if I do the right thing and stick by my coin, it's going to go to $1 billion. Because I'm going to push it for the next 10 years. It's going to go to $1 billion. It has to. There's no way it can't. I'll be free and I'll do a global tour and we'll fill up stadiums and it's going to go to $1 billion. Karmic retributions are real. In the end, God gives you exactly what you deserve. So if you're not happy with your life, you have to ask yourself, do you really deserve more? Have you really tried 100% of the time? Did you ignore that headache? Are you as competent as you could possibly be? Have you given 100% every time you've done anything? No. You deserve what you have. You deserve your mediocrity because you're an average person. You want a Lambo and these women and a boat and whatever else you want because you see it on Instagram, but wanting something and deserving something are very different things. If you truly deserved it, you'd be working for it in a way that ensures it would be given to you by the universe. Every single thing I've ever wanted, I have got. Maybe not instantly, maybe not easily, in fact, certainly not both. It was always difficult and it always took time, but I really wanted them, so I always got them. And I put in enough work to show God and show the universe I deserved them, so he gave them to me. I cannot remember a single time, and I state this as a matter of fact, this is not hyperbole, this is not top G joking. I cannot remember a single time I have ever decided not to do something that must be done because I had a headache, ever. Ever. So your question is gay. You do not have time to have headaches. It's a stupid question, and you should know better. Let's read the super chats quickly, guys. Super chat number 1. I'm a council member. The council are a select group of students inside of the real world who are at the highest possible echelon of achievement and networking. My buddy Chris is struggling with females right now. Should he stay with a woman who treats him terribly? It'll impact him a lot coming from you. Well, I don't know the ins and outs of his entire scenario. I don't know his entire situation, right? I don't know all the ups and downs, who this woman is, why she treats him terribly, etc. But what did I just say about deserve? So he has to decide, does he deserve the treatment he's currently getting? Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. Is she being terrible to him because he's sitting around and says he has a headache, like the last gay boy who just asked me a question? Maybe he deserves a woman who doesn't respect him to try and encourage him. Maybe her attacking him is an attempt to inspire him to be his best self. Maybe he deserves. Oh, hi. Maybe he deserves the treatment he's currently getting. Maybe he doesn't. So what a lot of it's about is deservedness. It comes down to whether your friend deserves the treatment or not. He has to be honest with himself, honest with you, and you have to be honest with him and say, listen, bro, you deserve what you're getting. What is this? Oh, fine. Thanks. So bye. So it's very difficult for me to answer this question. What I would say is that if he didn't deserve the treatment he's getting, he wouldn't accept it. And I can say that as a matter of fact because when you tolerate something, you're admitting you deserve it. Do you understand how it can be a self-fulfilling prophecy? If you tolerate something, you're admitting you deserve that thing. If he knew in his heart he deserved better and he was adamant of it, he would have no problem leaving her because he know he can do better. But perhaps he's thinking, maybe I can't do better because maybe this is all I deserve. You're going to get exactly what you deserve in life from women, from masculine friendship, financially, respect on the street, luck. You get the luck you deserve. If you try your very best in all things and you pray and you're really thankful to God and you say thank you all the time, you start to become very lucky. Lucky things start to happen. You get the luck you deserve when you try. It's truly remarkable. Next super chat. Does the War Room have a network in Romania? I'm based in Romania and trying really hard to find like-minded men to help them grow. Yeah, 100% we do. We have a network nearly everywhere. We just finished an event today in Marbella. We have 2 events a week all around the globe. Malaysia, Singapore, to Miami, Alaska, Wales, UK, all across Europe, South Africa. We're the largest online fraternity of masculine brotherhood in the world. And we do have a huge network in Romania. Of course, I'm here in Romania myself. You can find more about the War Room at cobratate.com. But masculine brotherhood has been the basis of keeping you accountable since the dawn of human time, right? The reason men charged at the gunfire is because everyone else charged at the gunfire and they don't want to be the only pussy who doesn't do it. It's very easy for you to become the best version of yourself if all the men around you are pushing you all of the time and they're ensuring that they are being their best selves. You're supposed to operate in a gang, in an army, in a unit, which is constantly pushing and striving towards successes. This is what you're supposed to do. You always have. This is why even boxers, although they fight alone, they train as part of a camp with other boxers. You're always pushing yourself all of the time. That's the primary objective of masculinity, is to leave your mark on the world. And it's easiest to do that if you have brothers behind you who are pushing you to be your best self. That's what the War Room is for. So we have networks everywhere. You can find out more about the War Room at CorporateTate.com. I'll show you some videos from Malaysia at the end of this stream. Super chat. I'm 16 from Romania, make about 20K a month. Congratulations. 20K a month at 16 is incredible money. Absolutely incredible. It's actually amazing that you guys can make this kind of money. Because when I was 16, there was no internet money. There was no Facebook. There was no YouTube. There was no anything. When I was 16, nobody made 20K a month. Bankers didn't make 20K a month. Rich 50-year-old men didn't make 20K a month. There was no crypto. There was nothing. When I was 16, there was minimum wage jobs. That is it. We're living in a degree of social mobility that never existed before, that 16-year-olds can make this kind of money online. It's truly incredible. Think about it. Absolutely remarkable. I'm inside the Real World Council. I don't see the point in going to school anymore since I learned nothing. What are your thoughts? Well, I don't know what you're doing for money, but the first thing you need to do is diversify. You need to go inside the real world. You need to focus. I need to learn other ways to make money so you have backups. I don't know what you're doing to make money. I'm not going to tell you to not go to school, but education and learning and improving yourself and bettering yourself never ends. That is a path which even I'm still on at the ripe old age of 37. So if you feel like school isn't teaching you anything, that's fine, but you need to then find a place where you can learn something. You can go to the fight gym and learn all about philosophy by getting your ass kicked. You can join the War Room and learn all about masculine brotherhood and competition. We just had the Crucible today in Marbella. I'll put videos up shortly. But you need to be constantly educating, push yourself, and evolving. Because you're only 16, you're still a child. Your educational days are not over. They've only just begun, sir. Next super chat. What are my thoughts on Trump getting shot at in Florida today? The real world student here. Just completed my first kickboxing session yesterday. My evolution has begun. Thank you for igniting the fire in my blood. Congratulations, sir. I hope you take it very seriously when you're training, like we were saying earlier today. Trump's in a very precarious scenario, and he's in a very precarious position, and I think he knows he is. The whole Western world is. The Western world is currently balancing on the precipice. And the divide in the Western world is basically between people who take self-accountability and want to be in charge of their own lives, and the other side of people who want someone else to be in charge of them to fix their problems for them. And anyone who is competent and capable trusts themselves over they trust anyone else because they know other people are self-interested. There's never going to be somebody who wakes up and thinks, I need to dedicate my life to making that person's life better. And I don't care about myself. I only care about improving that one person's life. I'm going to save up and buy a Ferrari for them. That's not how it works. So people who are competent think, I trust myself to improve my life because nobody's going to care about it as much as me. But people who are not competent want some other competent person in charge. Even worse, they'll say, I want this person in charge of my life, even though that person isn't competent at all. They just want to absolve responsibility. So this is the position we're currently in the West. You have the two teams of people who want to be left alone and left to their own devices, and people who want big daddy or mommy government to come along and fix every single ailment they believe that is afflicting them. And it's becoming more and more scary. And the reason it's scary is because as the world gets harder and harder and people struggle to prove their competence, as people struggle to succeed, more and more people are going to advocate towards government come help me. Advocate towards the nanny state. And what the government's simply going to do is enslave everybody. That's all it's going to do. It doesn't have any interest in making you all free individuals. It has no interest in sitting there going, how do we make everybody free and happy and rich? No. It wants you all to be enslaved, doing exactly as it says, doing its bidding. That's the end goal of the government. So, Trump is perhaps the last hope of the Western world, but even if Trump wins, he can only delay the raw. I don't think he can stop it or turn it around. What's going to happen after Trump is gone? A lot of people here watching this are 16, 18, 19 years old. You're going to see 5 or 6 more presidents before you're my age. Who are they even going to be? Nobody knows. Are they going to be as charismatic as Trump? I doubt it. As capable as Trump? I doubt it. Politics is over. The Western world has a lot of enemies which are uniting against it. BRICS and the global South, the second world. A lot is coming for America now and the West as we know it. Times are going to get hard. What did I say about making the brave choice? What did I say about having a masculine network inside of the war room? What did I say about making as much money inside of the real world? What did I say about being the kind of person who is unique and can outcompete in AI because they have so many unique experiences across the board? What did I say about doing the best every single time you do anything you're going to do? You may as well attack it with 100% vigor. Now is the time to turn your A game on. And it's a very unique period of human history because not only is it the time to turn your A game on because it's required, it's also a time where 16-year-olds can make 20 grand a month inside the real world. It's incredible. When I was 16, it was impossible to make that money. It was truly impossible. This is a short gap in humanity where anyone can become rich. All you have to do is try. Now and now only is a period of human history where anybody can become rich if they dedicate themselves. That's it. If you don't dedicate yourselves now, there's no point trying to dedicate yourself later when the gate is closed. The gate is open. There's a prison break. You can escape the jail right now. But soon all social mobility will be completely destroyed. They're going to close the gate and clamp you down in that little slave quarter. And you're going to stay there. And so is your bloodline for eternity. A couple more super chats, guys. Who should you become before you get rich? I'm 18 years old in school, doing door-to-door sales, boxing, and learning marketing. Fantastic. Those are amazing skills. Life is sales. Convincing a woman to love you is sales. Winning a court case is sales. Work is sales. Life is sales. So, fantastic thing to learn. Boxing, once again, fantastic thing to learn. It's very good. Your body and mind are connected. You cannot have a strong mind without having a strong body. Fantastic. Who should you be before you become rich? Well, money is an amplifier. Money's not going to change who you are. It's going to amplify who you are. If you're a good person, it'll make you a very good person. If you're a bad person, it'll make you a very bad person. If you're a weak person, it'll make you very weak and cowardly and scared. If you're a strong person, it'll make you very brave. Money amplifies. So you actually kind of have to hope that you don't get rich too early before you've struggled enough, because men are built on the back of struggle. You have to go through pain and terrible things as a man and struggle constantly to be a good man. No man who has not struggled is a good man or good at being a man. But don't worry, I think God has a plan for you. You should be trying your absolute best to get rich all of the time. You should be struggling and working as hard as possible. And all of those lessons that will come with all the suffering and the difficulty will be amplified by the time you're a multimillionaire and you'll become the best version of yourself. That's how you become a top G. You just need to wake up every day and be prepared to give 100% focus to all of the things you do. That's all you have to worry about. It's kind of like, if you worry about the work, the results come. The results are easy. Guys, money is easy. Money is easy. Women are easy. The life you want is easy. All you have to do is fall in love with the work. If you fall in love with the work, fall in love with being good at doing your work, getting it done, never missing a day, because the easiest way to make sure you never miss a lucky day is to try every single day. Lucky days exist. And you're never going to know if you have a lucky day or not unless you try every single day. Then you're never going to miss any lucky days. And you're going to pull it off. And you're going to realize it wasn't actually that difficult. All it took was consistency and constant effort. Never being lazy and doing everything I'm supposed to do properly. Right, we have a lot of super chats here. I'm going to save some of them for the next emergency meeting. I'm going to read out this $300 one. Success is like being pregnant. Everyone says congratulations, but nobody knows how many times you get fucked. Unless you're gay, truly. Thanks. Cheers from the Canada crew. Absolutely. But that's the beauty of success, right? Because all the times you get fucked teach you the lessons you need to be successful in the first place. You would never be successful without getting screwed over. And also, you wouldn't be happy with your success without getting screwed over. The reason you appreciate that woman who's so good to you, who you trust with all your heart, who's loyal to you, is because that other woman cheated on you. If you had never seen a terrible, narcissistic, cheating woman, you wouldn't appreciate a good, kind-hearted one. There is no light without dark. So it's very important that you go through these bad things, one, to learn lessons, but two, to learn gratitude and appreciation for things once you have them. It's extremely important. Every time something bad happens to you, you need to say thank you to God. Thank you, God, for giving me this difficult time, for me to learn lessons, and for me to have more appreciation for my fantastic life in the future. That's how you should approach life. And especially success is exactly the same way. The lessons you'll learn failing along the way will ensure that when you get to the top, you can keep it. Read another super chat here. Hi, I'm inside the real world, and I live in a violent household. This affects my work inside the real world. Should I get an apartment with my 8K, or should I buy daddy and wait for it to blow up? I don't know what violent household means. I don't know where you live. It's very difficult for me to answer these questions, but I will say, Peace of mind is important, of course. Of course it is. I don't know what you mean by a violent household. It's very difficult for you to answer that question. But what's the bravest choice? I don't know your scenario. Do you think this household could be salvaged? Have you had adult conversations with people? Have you tried to explain, listen, I'm making money online now. There's nothing to fight about. Our financial problems, I'm going to fix them. We're a family. I don't know. I think a lot of situations are more fixable and more salvageable than people want to pretend they are. Running away is great. Everyone thinks about running away, but a lot of things can be fixed most of the time. You know your scenario better than me, friend, but it's something to consider. Guys, I'm going to go through a couple more questions that was sent to me, and we're going to save the super chats for next time. Sometimes I find myself purposely falling off just to feel the fire of shame so I can work. I don't know how to keep that fire going. What should I do? This is a really interesting question, actually, because it amazes me that so many people in the world still today, even though we have instant access via social media to the truly successful, believe anything they've done matters. So you've made 100 grand. You're still poor. That's nothing. That is nothing. 100 grand is nothing. It is my cigar bill for a month. It's nothing. You fucked a girl. You're still gay. You've changed nothing. You've achieved nothing. You need to compare yourself always and constantly to somebody who is outperforming you. You need to stop being so happy with yourself for these tiny little successes. This is what they teach inside of common pop psychology garbage classes. Yeah, and take the small success and be happy with it and put little milestones and reward yourself for achieving the little milestone. No. That's not what you should do. You should compare yourself to people like me and say, Andrew has 75 supercars, hundreds of millions of dollars, and he's resisted a matrix attack, and he was a 4-time world champion, and he has X amount of baby mamas who adore him, and everybody on the planet knows his name, and he's universally respected on every single street he can walk down. I want to be him. I want what he has. I need to compare myself to him. Where can I beat him in what realms? The answer is none. If not me, choose someone else. The point is, the fact you could have a little tiny success and quit shows that there's something wrong with your mentality and your firmware in the first place. You don't know what success is. I don't consider myself successful. So how can you consider yourself successful enough to not work? All I do is work. I work 7 days a week, 18 hours a day, every single day, never missed a day, headache or not. Ever. So I don't understand this mindset. And you see a lot of people do it, right? They'll say, oh yeah, I had a really great week and I made some money and now I'm in Costa Rica. You're never going to win that way. People often say to the extremely wealthy people, why do you work all the time? All you do is work. If I was as rich as you, I'd just go on holidays. Not understanding that the kind of person who goes on holidays when they have money is not the kind of person who becomes truly rich. The kind of people who become truly rich are the people who work every day no matter what. Which is why all of the people who are truly rich are workaholics, because it's the only way to really get there. You can get to a certain point once you're a trillionaire, you're Jeff Bezos or whatever, that you can take some days off. I'm not saying that, but the point I'm making is you need to fall in love with being happy with yourself for how hard you've dedicated yourself to a task. That needs to be more satisfying to you than relaxing. Relaxing is probably the most boring thing you can possibly say for me to do. Say, Andrew, do you want to go relax? I say, what do? Stare at a wall? That sounds terrible. Nothing is worse than relaxing. I don't want to relax. I want to work. That's all I want to do is work. Because if I work and I achieve things, I feel good inside. I got something done. I feel good. I feel happy. If I just relax, nothing's been achieved, so I don't see the point of it. It doesn't even relax me. In fact, it makes me very anxious. Recently, someone tweeted at me. I don't know if we can find the tweet where they said I had an anxiety disorder. Let me bring that up. Because maybe he's right. I don't know, but thank God I have this disorder. Because I said that I either am doing my work or I'm ignoring my work to relax, but I'm anxious about the work I should be doing. So then I feel more stressed than if I was just doing the work in the first place, which is why relaxing is impossible for me. And he said, well, it sounds like you have an anxiety disorder. If it's a disorder that allows me to constantly work all of the time and never be happy unless all of my work is complete, thank God I have it, because if I didn't have this disorder, I'd be a normal jackass like you. I would hate to be a normie peon in the mess we're currently in as they inflate the currency and enslave the population. To sit around working a normal job, geographically restricted within one jurisdiction, as the impending and imposing slavery is dragged on top of the population like a huge iron curtain of homosexual bullshit. It's probably the worst example of a masculine existence I can think of, because you don't even resist for your bloodline. You don't even have any honor or glory in your death. You just become insignificant. You just die as a number that nobody even remembers. So if I have an anxiety disorder because I constantly need to work all the time to make sure that I'm as successful as possible and I have weapons to fight back, thank God I have it. What kind of man would I be if I could just go sit down and relax on the beach right now with a pina colada and a blowjob from a dude and ignore all this? It doesn't matter. They're just going to enslave us all. I'm relaxing. You're gay. Relaxing is for gays, for homosexuals. You have work to do. So, but that's the normie person's mind. You have a disorder and you're dedicated to making sure all of your work is done all of the time. That's how broken these people are. This is your competition. These are the people you're competing against. Imagine you were in the war room and all the men you spoke to all of the time had this anxiety disorder, and all they did every day was tell you how much work they did and encourage you to come work along with them and give you ideas and say, here, you can come work with us. Imagine how much more you'd get done. Instead, you're talking to your jackass friends who don't do anything with their lives. Of course, you're not doing anything with your life. Guys, time is running out for a chance to win. It truly is. I'm fine. I'm on the right side of the fence. It doesn't matter if this Matrix attack puts me in jail or not. I'm going to come out rich. I'm good. You guys are truly running out of time. It's very important that you get your act together quickly. So if you want to call it anxiety disorder, then get one. Don't be talking about headaches. Don't be talking about working. Don't be arguing with women. You have things to do, right? Doesn't matter if you have a headache or not. You must work. Here's the tweet. Let me load it up quickly and put it on the screen. Here we go. So he says, it sounds like I have an anxiety disorder. I was talking about how I can't relax. And I said, probably it makes me a winner. Thank God I have this disorder, so I'm not nobody like you. Anxiety sounds like free energy. Could give me more. Absolutely. Anxiety is exactly that. It's free energy. Nervousness is free energy. The inability to rest or relax or sleep is free energy. You just have to have the discipline to direct it in the correct direction so you can attack the matrix. You need to sit at home and feel this fire inside of you because you do not have all of the money you want, all of the respect you want, and your name has not been echoed into eternity. You're not etched into the halls of history. You need to take all of that fire inside of you and all of that anger and direct it at one task. And you need to try your absolute best to ensure you succeed in that task. We'll teach you the tasks inside of the real world. You can join and we will teach you how to escape the slavery. We'll teach you how to do it. It's down to you. I can't drag you across the finish line. I can only show you where the race is and try and hype you up before you run. I can take you to the start line. I can tell you you can do it. I can tell you how fantastic it is when the race is over. I can tell you it is worth it, but you have to be the one to run the race. I can't carry you. If you're going to ask me stupid questions about headaches, you're never going to make it. There's going to be a huge contingent of the populace that never make it. But when you do, it is worth it because you're remembered. And that's the whole point of being alive as a man in the first place, is to go down in history. It's not to go through life comfortably. It's not to go through life without struggle, without pain. The point of being a man in the first place is so that you suffer enough for people to remember you, to die for something, to live for something. That's the whole point in all of this. There's nothing else to do besides have children and make your name synonymous with something fantastic which has affected humanity and culture. That's all it's about. And it's very difficult to do that if you're insignificant and broke and lazy and stupid with a fucking headache.